Hey, Chris Adams here with the Twin Cities Elite Real Estate Group in the MLS Online. Just wanted to come to you today with a little video. We got Muntz here with us as well from the Twin Cities Elite Real Estate Group. Muntz, you want to say hi quick?
Hi, everyone.
And we got Bob Haft here with New American Funding, one of the lenders that we use quite a bit. We just wanted to shoot a little video for you today that just talks a little bit about the pre-approval process. So what does it look like from the realtor perspective? What does it also look like to the homeowner? And obviously the most important person in this process is going to be the lender and what it looks like on their side. So me and Muntz are just going to ask Bob some questions here today on what questions we typically get. So I'll let you go ahead and start with that there, Muntz.
Thank you, Chris. I work with a lot of buyers and they do have a lot of pre-approval questions. And I guess my first question for Bob that's rather typical is how do I go about getting pre-approved, Bob?
Well, thanks, Muntz, and thanks, Chris, for having me on. It all starts with a phone call. It takes about the whole process is I need to gather some information from you so I can do my homework and assess your current situation. Now, the two ways that we can do it is a 5-10 minute phone call, or you can actually click on an online app and fill it out that way.
Perfect. And how long does that process typically take to get pre-approved, Bob?
It depends on the prospective buyer in place on how fast he can get me, to back up the income and assets, that sort of thing. But if he had everything in hand, I can get them all pre-qualified in less than 30 minutes. As in terms of the difference between pre-qualification and pre-approval are, you've given me the information, I run it through an automated system, and it says, yes, you're good to go, you're good to go. And then you can kick out what they call a pre-qualification letter. A pre-approval means that information and documentation's actually been looked at by an underwriter, and they've given you a conditional approval. And that's when you can actually say, hey, to any sellers that this person is actually pre-approved versus pre-qualified.
Hey, Bob, when people apply for pre-approval, what type of information do you need them to supply you with in order to get that process going? What are you looking at when you go through the pre-approval?
Standard information, if they're a W-2 employee, they'd be looking at a month's worth of pay stubs, the last 2 years of W-2s, the last 2 years of federal tax returns, checking, savings, 401k statements, depending on where the money is coming from, any down payment. If they're self-employed, obviously we need business returns and 1099s. So it'll be different for different people depending on how they work.
Perfect. And then when you issue these pre-approval letter, Bob, like how long is it valid for? Is it like 5 days or 30 days or a couple months?
Well, credit reports are good for 120 days at a time, okay? So your actual approval is good for that length of time before I have to pull a brand new credit report. Now, you're still approved through this process, whether it's 30, 60, 90 days down the line, as long as nothing has changed in your credit profile or income, okay? If something changes, we'd have to adjust accordingly, that sort of thing. But normally, if you just stay the course, you're approved for the length of the time that you need.
Thanks, Bob. A lot of people ask me when they're thinking about getting pre-approved, does it ding their credit report when they go through the pre-approval process? Is that going to lower their credit score?
Now, with it all depends. Everybody's situation is a little bit different when having inquiries on a credit report, because we don't know what the existing, what they have existing. We don't know what their credit profile is right now, whether they have 700, 800 scores, or do they have 600 scores, or how many inquiries previously have been hit on that credit report. There is no standard in credit reporting, so it's hard for anybody to tell you how many points that's going to ding your credit report. Because you got to remember, there's 3 credit reporting agencies out there, and they all look at how you manage your debt differently and separately. It's Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, and they pull your mid score as your FICO score. And you're going to find that all the creditors that you've had over the life of your credit history, that they all don't report to all 3 bureaus. Some report to 1, some report to 2, some report to all 3, and that's why they pull your mid score as your FICO score. But yes, as in terms of will an inquiry have an effect on your credit report? It could, definitely could. I just can't tell you, and nobody can, on what that effect would be. So if you gave me a little bit of information on, hey, Bob, you're my 10th pull, or hey, you're my second pull on my credit report, and it's been within 30 days of me searching for a best mortgage possibility, that sort of thing, I can give you some guidance on that.
That's perfect, Bob. And then, one of the other questions that we get, this is, I guess, tied in a little bit together, but, sometimes people will ask us, hey, does it cost us to actually apply for a mortgage? And, they don't really know what that process looks like. And sometimes it's kind of scary to them. And we tell them that it's really a pretty quick process for the most part, especially when you're dealing with a professional like yourself. So just talking about that a little bit.
Yeah, the cost, none whatsoever. The only cost that you have is the time that you invest into the phone call or time with myself. I can tell you that it's remember, you are the boss. The borrower is the boss the whole way out from start to finish. If he doesn't think that loan officer has his best interest in mind, at any point in time, he could say, you know what, I'm going to walk away, and there's no cost to him. I just want to make sure that he does have the information he needs to make an informed decision on any financing decisions that he and his family might have to make. But no, it's totally great to meet new people, that sort of thing, but there's no cost for it.
Great. One more question that I get a lot is when people are looking to get the pre-approval process done, should they shop around with a couple different lenders to see, like, are the deals going to be different with different lenders, and how would they go about that?
Yeah, unfortunately, you're going to find that all loan officers work in different ways, that sort of thing. And it's not a bad idea to make sure you have that right representation on the financing end when you're making one of the most important decisions of your life. So yes, I do encourage that people can check out other venues, but I would limit it to, 2, maybe 3 people, because like I said, the inquiries will have an effect on your score, that sort of thing. But at the same time, you want to make sure you have that right person in front of you to give you that guidance, to set the right expectations for you, to educate you on, the terms that you're going to come across when buying a home. So I do believe in that it's good to make sure that you do have the right person in front of you.
Yep, absolutely. One of the other things just that we like on the real estate side of it is, as soon as clients get a pre-approval, they make that connection with a lender such as yourself. It's really good for us on the real estate side. So, we can talk to clients about what they feel comfortable with based upon your conversations with them, as far as what, they can actually qualify for a home, which really helps us. And then also figuring out their down payment, closing costs, things like that, because that's some of the questions we get. A lot of people don't know. There's programs out there where, you can put 3.5% down, or sometimes less, or 20% down or more if you want. So any other thoughts or comments around that?
That is a good point that you brought up, and I failed to mention that, so I'm sorry about that. Yeah, the other portion of shopping around or getting more than one opinion is that you're going to find that all lenders don't have all the financing options available to you. That might make sense to you, that they just don't have, so they're not going to present it to you. But there might be something better out there for you. So yeah, that is a good reason, obviously to make sure that you have the right person in front of you that has the right product that might work for you, depending on what your financial goals are in the home. Is it a starter home? Is it your dream home? Is it the end home? That sort of thing. As I always tell people, and you know this, Chris, is that buying a house, it's life-changing, and it's up to you whether or not you make it a lifestyle change. So I gauge people that are in front of me on what they expect for a house payment, because then I can give them guidance on what they should be looking for. They might qualify for more house, but if they go above what they budgeted for, it becomes a lifestyle change. They have to give something up to make that work. And I try to make sure they explain that to them to make sense.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, I think we kind of got everything wrapped up today as far as pre-approvals go. So if anybody has questions, feel free to leave us a comment. You can reach out to us directly as well. And thank you guys for your time today.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye.